Okay.
This is an interview with Richard Barclay, Hampton Inn, Newburgh, New York. It is the 7th of October 2003, approximately 10:30 a.m. The interviewers are Mike Russert and Wayne Clark. Could you give me your full name, date of birth, and place of birth, please?
Richard L. Barclay, born 5/4/25,
Okay, and where?
in town of Plattekill, which is about 10 miles north of here.
Okay. What was your educational background prior to entering service?
Just high school.
Okay. Did you enlist or were you drafted?
I was drafted. I got my high school diploma on the 23rd of June, 43. The 25th, I was sworn in the Army.
Okay. Do you remember where you were and your reaction when you heard about Pearl Harbor?
I was in school, as far as I know.
Do you remember your reaction when you heard about it?
All that I remember, really, is here we go.
Okay. All right. Now, when you were drafted, where were you inducted into the Army?
In New York City.
Okay.
Went to Fort Dix, and then was shipped to Fort Eustis, Virginia, in Coast Artillery.
Okay, so you were assigned to coastal artillery. What kind of specialized training did you receive?
Only on half tracks with 450 caliber guns mounted on it, a turret. But then I was shipped to Hawaii at the end of 43, and from there they formed up an artillery outfit, 24th Corps Artillery, which was consisted of 419th Field Artillery, 155 howitzers, and 225th Artillery, which was 155 long toms.
Okay. Now, I noticed it said that you were a lineman. You laid out the telephone lines and operated them and installed them. Were you given special training for that?
Well, only in Hawaii. After the outfit was formed, I was put in the wire crew in the headquarters battalion. And since radios at that time weren't that good, we had to maintain double lines to every outfit as part of every gun battery. And we just received some training in on the island of Oahu, but after that, no more.
Now, how did you lay the lines out to the batteries and back? Did you lay two lines out? How did you do that?
Well, they went by different routes. Primarily, if shell fire took them out or tanks took them out, why, they wouldn't get both of them.
Oh, okay,
And,
so they went in different areas then.
Yeah. Well, then we also, I had a crew. I wound up with a corporal's rate, and I had a crew of 4 men, and we laid the wires from a truck, a 4x4 Dodge truck, and we laid the wires from there, and as much as we could, we tied it up off the ground, but that wasn't always possible.
Okay. All right. Now, where was your first campaign?
Saipan. They formed up, and then we went to Saipan. We went ashore the 3rd day. It was a long haul.
In what way? What do you mean?
Well, there was a lot of people. We had to help pick up a few of our own people to get a room to set the guns up. And there were a lot of them that didn't make it. And then, of course, the Japanese had no surrender at all. Very few of them you ever see behind bars.
Now, did you carry any kind of weapons?
Yeah, always carried a rifle. In fact, we had spares on the truck we had picked up off the field. And we had spares. We had also extra ammo that we used. And then the guns we carried, well, at that time I had a .45 Thompson submachine gun. And that got pretty heavy, carrying that all day.
How close were you to combat?
Well, quite often we had to go up almost to the front lines to lay wires, to put the wires down.
Now, you always did this with your truck, or did you have to do it on foot sometimes?
Well, always had the truck within a short distance from us. Sometimes we'd have to get off and hike, but most of the time was from the truck. But at that rate, somebody had to run along behind the truck, tie the wire off, and getting it out of the road. So we took turns at that too.
What do you mean to tie the wire off? What do you mean by that?
Well, when you're laying out the wire, the pull of the reel, if you're going around a corner, would pull it out of the road. So you had to find something to loop it around or tie it fast so it wouldn't pull out of the road.
Okay. Did you ever have to go out and repair the wires, or did you have to replace the wire if it was hit?
Well, we repaired when we could and replaced if we couldn't repair. Because sometimes the Japanese would cut the wire and drag it in someplace where they could probably pick us off. So having laid the lines, we knew where they went. So if it was cut and dragged off, we cut it and spliced a new piece in and went from there. Primarily because I was very reluctant to get in the spot where I couldn't get out of in a hurry.
Now, it said also, was it in headquarters that you had the switchboards?
Yeah, in the headquarters. Well, then we had 4 wire crews, 20 men, and we took turns. Had a week on the switchboard, and then had a week, or the other 3 weeks, without fixing lines or laying lines, what have you.
Now, how did you power this system? That it needed some kind of power. How did you power this whole system?
Most of it was battery.
Battery, okay.
Yeah. The field phones had C or D batteries in them.
Were they the type you cranked it to
Yes,
get in contact?
you had to crank it. That would trip a flap on the switchboard, so that you could plug it into, or the person on the switchboard could open that circuit up and relay the message to where you wanted it to go.
Okay. How long would it take to hook a battery up to your headquarters?
But the batteries were permanently installed in.
No, I mean that you have an artillery battery sitting out here.
Yeah.
How long would it take you to take the wires, hook up that to the battery, and hook up to your install the switchboard? How long would it take to do that? About
We installed the switchboard right away when we moved in, and then the rest, getting the lines to the batteries, was dependent on
how far out I know they.
what the conditions were also, because you didn't like to take chances.
How long were you on Saipan?
Till the end of Saipan, it was about a little over a month. And then we went to Tinian, which is an island just a short distance from Saipan. And then in December of that year, we went to Leyte in the Philippines.
Now, how long after D-Day did you land on Leyte?
Well, that battle was pretty much, the island was pretty much secured when we
by
got
the time.
ashore. But then one of the small islands north of, or off Leyte, Cebu I think it was, as we had to go in the other end of the island, Leyte, and provide gun coverage to the people taking that small island.
Okay. And your final campaign was Okinawa. When did you land in Okinawa?
D-Day, and that was April the 1st, Easter Sunday, 1945.
Now, the landings in Okinawa didn't receive much
No, they were,
opposition.
for some reason, the Japanese had retreated to the hills, and they didn't do anything for, I think, a couple of days. But I went ashore right early, because I had a truck on top of an LST. Had to drive that ashore.
Now, did your whole artillery unit go in together in that LST?
No, it was only part of it in that LST, but it was pretty good sized outfit, so they had the guns and tractors on various ships, mostly LSTs.
How were your guns towed in?
Well, they had tractors. The 155 had a smaller tractor. It was almost like a tank.
Okay. How long were you on Okinawa?
Till after the war. For December of 45 we left for heading back to the States.
How do you recall seeing any of were you involved in any of the attacks in Okinawa close up, or?
Yes, we were right up close to the front lines quite often. Had to lay the lines, maintain lines. So fortunately, I came out with a whole skin.
Were many in your unit killed or wounded?
No, fortunately, none. Few people had probably accidents. One guy dropped something on his foot. He had to be taken away because it broke a lot of bones in his foot. But other than that, we lost nobody.
Were you there during the typhoons?
Yeah,
What was that like being on land? I know we've talked to some of the
Well,
Navy people.
I have some pictures here, and our outfit, there was only one tent left standing. And that's mostly because we threw telephone wires over top and tied it to trucks on either side. But in daylight come, you could see right through the canvas.
Did it do much damage to your lines? Did you have to relay new lines, or?
No, that didn't do too much damage there, but all our tents were gone.
Okay. Did you, while you were there, did you do any training for landings in Japan?
No. We hadn't, well, we were just doing our equipment and bringing that up to snuff when the war was over.
Do you remember hearing about the death of President Roosevelt at all?
Oh, yes.
What was your reaction to that?
He was pretty well hurting, so we kind of figured he was out of it. That's, in his sake, was a good thing.
Do you remember what your reaction was when you heard about the dropping of the atomic bombs?
Well, I, for one, was happy because we were loading for Japan, and the predictions there were not good.
Okay. Did you ever get to see any USO shows?
A couple, that's about all.
Did you see any celebrities at all in them, or?
No, I don't remember.
Okay. Now, you were discharged in January of '46.
Yeah.
Where were you discharged?
Fort Dix.
Okay. Did you ever make use of the GI Bill?
Yes. I got 2 years in college at Sampson, which is near Geneva.
Yes.
And that was the forerunner of these community colleges. New York State colleges had gotten together, and they had 3 places, Sampson, and the one at Plattsburgh and one in Utica. I think there was one, a small one in Middletown. So I got 2 years pre-engineering, really.
Did you make use of the 5220 Club?
No. Not that I know of. No.
Did you join any veterans organizations at all?
Only the American Legion.
Have you stayed with the American Legion? Or?
Yes, I was commander 99 and up to 201.
Okay. Did you stay in contact with anyone that was in service with you?
No, not lately. Well, shortly after we got home, I saw one guy that was a buddy of mine, and but other than that, no.
Okay. Would you show us the pictures that you have, what you brought over?
Well, I got, these pictures were taken on Okinawa.
If you hold it just like this,
Yeah.
Wayne can focus in on it.
This was the monument to Buckner on Okinawa.
Are you in that picture?
No.
Okay.
And then I'm in this picture here. That was a group of the people on our outfit.
Are those other pictures of men that you served with?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, this was a close friend of mine. He was from Jersey. So, and then on this was another picture of the group. This was my friend and I, Clark Grady his name was.
So you're the one in this photograph, you're the one, this is you?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, when were those taken and where?
They were taken on Okinawa. I think towards the end of the, or after the island was secure.
Okay.
And then this picture was taken in the Philippines, Leyte.
Okay, all those pictures were taken there?
Were all of those taken in the Philippines?
No, no. All these were, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, they were all taken in the Philippines.
Okay.
I can't remember how I got copies of them. But. And then this was my brother-in-law. He was in the engineering section of the Army. And he came to visit on Okinawa. He was on a small island, short ways.
Now, were you married when you were in service?
No.
Oh, okay.
But, and then these pictures are after the typhoon on Okinawa. And then these were others I took, or was taken in the on Okinawa. And then this picture was Memorial Day 2000. I was commander of the Legion Post at that time, and that was our Memorial Day service.
Okay.
Okay.
Anything else?
Yeah, I got a whole bunch of stuff. Oh, now this was the currency handed out to the to all the personnel that went on the islands.
Oh, military payment
Yeah,
certificates.
military currency,
Okay.
because they did not want the enemy to get a hold of any of our money, so all of this is here. And then, whoops. Now this was a flyer that was dropped on Saipan and Tinian.
You can hold it back a little bit.
This, on the other side of it here, it says, "This leaflet guarantees humane treatment to any Japanese desiring to surrender. Take him immediately to your nearest intelligence officer." And these were dropped.
Could you turn around and show us the other side?
Yeah, these were dropped on Saipan and Tinian. I don't know whether this stuff is good
Okay.
for you or not.
Yes. I don't think I've seen
And then, whoops, here, this was a booklet handed out before I went into Saipan, showing the Marianas and a brief bit of their history, and then also, I believe in the back here there are translations of various words, so that you could, and then these here were maps given out prior to Saipan and Tinian, kind of worn a little bit, indicating where the beaches were.
Okay.
And of course on the back they have the various colors. This is a map of Tinian.
Okay.
It's a little worse for the wear. It's over almost 60 years old.
Yes.
That was Saipan. The same thing. I think that was primarily so that people were assigned to different beaches, and they'd know which one they were going to. We went ashore here near Saipan, who was down here.
Okay.
Okay.
And then this was handed out prior to Okinawa. That gives a brief history of the Ryukyus, which was islands of part of Okinawa. And they give a brief history here and things to be watched out for and what have you. This was stuff I picked up. Oh, that was ration stamps, I think, from Japan.
So you picked these up? Where
Yeah.
did you pick those up?
Well, they were scattered around when the invasion force went through. These guys looked at everything.
Which island was that you found those?
Okinawa.
Okinawa, okay.
Yeah. And then this was, this was put out by just almost like a newspaper put out by the government, or written up by some of our people and some others outfits.
Okay.
Okay. How do you think your time in the service affected your life?
Well, I think what happened was I got to the point where minor things did not irritate me. I could, especially on my job, I could, error was made, we fix it and go to work. Never mind worrying about it. That was probably helped on by my service. So things didn't bother. Small things don't bother me.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for your interview.
Thank you.
Okay.